Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Oxygen not included, fresh off of having a day off for the Christmas vacation. An attempt for me to read all the comments, but the comments from yesterday's video say only a couple of things. One of them is read the comments, one of them is clean up this piss, which is probably fair. And the other one is essay length questions, questioning my intelligence because of the fact that I got input and output wrong for 10 minutes in the last video. Fair to be angry about that. Very, very unfair to criticize my intelligence, especially in a YouTube comment. I mean, it's like, you gotta glass houses and all that, but I digress. I'm gonna be the bigger man and I'm gonna work beyond it, because you know what? I'm pleased with the oxygen not included colony thus far. I do wish that we hadn't let our water supply get totally tainted in urine. That was ill-advised. I think it's fair to say. I'm trying to think of what we can do to solve that problem. I really don't want to let this water go. We don't have a liquid filter yet. I think what we should do is build... And to be fair to the negative comments, I know that you think you're doing a thing that's productive by being insulting. I get that, because I've been there. Why do they keep making these DC movies so bad? They're being stupid, you know, but it's, and I'm doing my best to take the positives from it. Well, all I'm gonna say is that it takes a big person to look at the stuff like that, consider myself fairly intelligent, and then you make one mistake and people go, why are you trolling the viewers? I'm not trolling the viewers, it's just I'm trying to keep up a stream of consciousness while talking at the same time. I got the friggin' thought that the green was... Where's plumbing? Give me a moment here. It's undermining my whole point. The thought that green was input, like green means go, but green means gone. And white means... Will you please insert the input here? Look. We're gonna move past it. So here's what I'm gonna do. To be fair, I would not, without seeing the anger, I would never have really noticed the germ overlay here. So I think I see the problem, and I see how to fix it. And I do think this is priority 8. Build this. Now we have a liquid pitcher pump. Well, once the day ends, at least. We have a liquid pitcher pump that should allow us to get clean water. And when we get a liquid filter, we can build a filter system, or a filtration system, that can pump clean water back into here. I wonder if we put it up here. I mean, we could even pump it down here, but... The whole point of the situation in the end is that we could put dirty water here, clean water here. And hopefully, eventually, this water will be less germy. I don't know if you can disinfect water in this game, like hit it with a blast of ultraviolet light or something like that. Do we have algae right now? That is organic. We have about 1,000 kilos of algae. It's not a ton. Well, it might literally be a metric. Okay, fair enough. You got me on that one, and I cannot dispute it. This will only hold slime. We were building up on the last one because we wanted to get all this sweet, sweet algae that's around us here. What on earth is this? It's like a flooded alien base invented by Elon Musk. We have a lot of meal lice. Let's make sure that we're still creating enough of that. We are going to need algae. And the good thing about coming through here is that we're going to get an awful lot of it. What did I prioritize this at? A 3. Seems a little on the low side, but I understand. I'm still trying to figure out, by the way, what's going on with our greenhouse down here and why the temperature is so high. Except for the fact that maybe it's just the chlorine gas or hydrogen gas that's below it. And moreover, I'm trying to wonder, I'm wondering what we can actually do to solve that problem. Some of the comments said there's not enough carbon dioxide down there. for the plants to grow. That might be true. I mean, I guess I would prefer that this was completely red. And I wouldn't say unbreathable, but that there was a lot of carbon dioxide. But I believe the requirement for plants is just that they have air pressure and atmosphere of some kind of breathable gas, either oxygen, polluted oxygen, or carbon dioxide. So I guess that means they just can't grow in a vacuum. But I don't know. Again, maybe carbon dioxide has a higher specific heat capacity or something, or lower specific heat capacity. Alright, so we're not getting a whole lot of anything done today. There's going to be buildings that lack resources because we haven't built the pitcher pipe yet. Pitcher pump, I should say. Unreachable dig! That's a problem. Okay, so, I mean, in the end, you do need water. You can power the algae terrarium with polluted water, at least. I prefer you didn't make stuff in the microbe musher with it, but if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So let's cancel this build real quick. Should have diagnosed this a little faster, but life goes on. And we will dig at a priority 8. Take that out of there. And it's a pretty sizable water supply, considering we've kept our colony very quaint thus far. I think we have not very much to worry about with respect to our water supply in the present moment. And I think it's, you know, the benefit of scaling up very slowly. Oh, you can't get through there because, right, you got to deconstruct this first. That should work now. And we'll sweep this up at a priority 8. We do need refrigeration. Have we selected research to be done? Power regulation. It's important. We probably want to replace our small batteries with normal batteries. Many more seeds now. It would probably be advisable to put our greenhouse someplace new, so that we can actually have a little bit more safety, security with respect to our food production. I get what you're doing. You're delivering meal lice to the microbe musher. It's a necessary part of doing business. You're filling it up with germy water, which I wish you were not, but at least now that I know what the problem is, we can diagnose it. And that's why, you know, so many of our duplicants are getting mildly sick. Essentially, like, every day. Okay, so having done this, we probably didn't even need to do this tiling in the first place. We just needed to break that, but life goes on. Pitcher pump. Thought maybe it would just automatically deconstruct, but apparently not. Probably need to reprioritize. No, okay. Keep filling up the algae terrariums. We had insufficient oxygen generation today, but not by much. In fact, I think we'll probably get it working by tomorrow. Wasted a few resources, but it's just sandstone. You know. You get it. And now, you know, if you weren't mad before, you're going to be mad here in a second. Because first off, I think we've just deconstructed the wires. These are priority 9s because I'm embarrassed. And we may have deconstructed the pipe as well. So this is not a banner video for me as far as I'm concerned. But at least it's a freaking start, dude. At least we noticed it. What I think we actually want to do is build the pitcher pipe over here. Might be relatively minor, and I know I'm doing this priority 9, but I'm kind of embarrassed and trying to cover up for my own mistake as quickly as possible. I want the pipe to have tendrils. Like, I want it to be able to suck deep within the water down here. I wish you'd build the tile first, but that's my own mistake in prioritization. And if we build it here, the valve actually ends up striking the pump, and as a result, it can't get as deep into the reservoir as I would like it to. So, if you could please build this at a priority 9. I really doubt you're going to finish it today, but... Oh, you were extremely close. Alright, so stress did go down today, which is nice. We generated some calories. You still got an order here? You do not. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plants. Let's say 8 plants because of the atmosphere. Is that... Wait. No, it's growth halted. For what reason? Temperature? Still temperature? 29.5. It could be temperature, but it might be atmospheric pressure. And if it's atmospheric pressure, we need to do some gas ventilation sort of setup. Anyway, okay, so we can stop drinking dirty water for the time being. Research is going to be done relatively soon for upgraded power. What comes next? Well, we did use about 100 kilos of algae. I think we're going to go back to this right here and say that's a priority 5. Let's just make sure our base runs well for today. It is a longer trip for them to get clean water. Honestly, except for our basement. I mean, these are locked in. It's polluted oxygen, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, polluted oxygen, carbon dioxide, right? Like, I'm relatively happy with the way things look down here. I wish that this pitcher pump, I mean, if we put like an algae terrarium or something down here, they might be a little less stressed out when they come down, but we'll see. So they did all their duties for today, I believe. They still gotta poop, they still gotta research. It's gonna take some time, and this is where I start to get tempted to get another duplicant. But I know that in the end, that is only gonna lead us to despair. The problem is we have a nice little colony right here. Thank you. We have a nice little colony right here, but it's not growing very quickly. So we could get meal prep. That's grill, mess table, farm tile. Internal combustion allows us to get the coal generator, which is probably our biggest priority there. Liquid filtration? Yeah, filtration is probably what we want next. Because we already have... No, we don't have distillation yet, but still. If we could just pipe... Well, let's put it this way. If we could pump water from a clean source that's mixed with dirty, let's say from a mixed source, through a filter out the polluted water, and then dump them in their appropriate reservoirs, I think that would be positive. I don't know if that will pollute this water. Like, is this polluted water? Can we run it through a UV filter? You still building up there? Incredibly slowly? Where's the closest sandstone? Ah, you're researching. And building lacks resources, supercomputer, it's just water. Takes you some time, but that's okay. You might as well deliver. Generating enough power. We probably do want to maybe replace these 2 batteries with 1 large battery. If you will, summon an even larger battery. How much do these store? If we go to our power overlay. 10,000 joules? How much do these store? 40 kilojoules. It's 4 times the power? I believe so. I'm just trying to think about how I would like to set this up. Like, power ended up being the big problem last time. The problem that has allowed, like, all of this, kind of, like, inefficient, like, miasma of problems to be created here. I don't think we need 4 batteries. I think that's just going to lead to somebody running on that generator for 100 years. And I could be wrong. That could be the right way to tackle things. I see the problem here. It's going to take you 1 and 1 million years in order to actually build those ladders up there. This thing, it should hold all, but also slime. So I think for now, having it hold all is fine. Otherwise, as soon as they dig a patch out there, they're going to have to deposit it someplace else. Believe it or not, I'm not upset with the progress rate of the colony right now. As much as it might look like it's kind of a trash city, I'm relatively pleased. Stress has come way, way, way down. And I don't really know what did that, but it might be related to not using dirty water anymore. Wouldn't surprise me. We continue to have essentially enough food, even if it's somewhat inefficiently set up. Our colony is highly breathable. And we're very slowly making progress. I know that one of the things that comes up in the comments that is definitely a fair criticism is, NL, you have to think first before acting. This is something I've been bad at for my entire life, essentially. I'm very much, I don't respect ideas. And I'm working to change that. It's a bad habit. I respect execution. I'm improvisational. I just want to do things. Whenever someone gives me an explanation of how to do something, my first instinct is to be like, I don't want to hear it. But this base, if I may defend myself, is a product of trying harder. And I'm not, oh, where's my participation medallion? You know, I'm just saying, last base, we were like, research, got it, build it. Research, got it, build it. We ended up building a base that was a monument to progress to some extent. Progress happened very, very quickly. The downside is that it didn't scale at all. You know, things became sincerely effed, and I almost was tempted to get screwed by the Google DeepMind language filter there. It was supremely effed. Instead, now we've got a base that's scaling up much slower. There's a lot more open space. Our pressure management is way better. And when we build something, or when we research something, I should say, we make sure we have the space for it to work before we just go, that's good enough. So we'll probably expand over here next. I don't know what we're going to put there yet. So we're not really researching new buildings yet. We're researching new, essentially new components. Our algae construction, or like algae vein, is going to take 1,000,000 years. It's going to take a few human lifetimes to get up here. And this isn't, like, this is algae, but we want to not crack into the polluted water vein if possible. There's also like a lot of clay. Like a lot of clay. The slime is actually good, even though it'll probably lead to potentially getting some slime lung. You know what? Let's, I would just want to, now that I have the opportunity to respond to the comments, someone shamed me in an earlier episode for when I had a problem and I solved it myself. They said, well, he didn't solve it himself. He used Google. You shouldn't shame people. You didn't come up with the answer yourself. You looked it up in the encyclopedia. Isaac Newton. Look, relax, okay? Batteries. Should I deconstruct tiny batteries? Oxygen not included. Google's your friend. You got the sum total of human knowledge at your fingerprints. Should try to figure it out if possible. You should deconstruct your hot buildings and rebuild them in gold amalgam as soon as you're able. That's an actual, like, useful piece of information, because we're about to get a bunch of gold amalgam. Might be a little bit above my intellectual weight class, though. It stores less power than the batteries. It uses power when no duplicants or machines produce power until it runs out of stored power. I just worry that, like, we have on this right now, we have some kind of battery recharge threshold. It's going to take us 1,000,000 years to get to the point where this battery is full. And that's going to really compromise our labor. So, I mean, these two store half as much energy as one of these combined. So what if we deconstruct these two and just see how it goes? Now here, I want you to, your building efficiency is so bad right now. Maybe it's because you're going for the deconstruct order first. It is taking forever to get us around the base as well. Did you finish liquid filtration already? Is there anything else we need or would like to have quickly? We probably want air systems. Is it hand sanitizer? Apothecary, okay. We probably want air systems, and we probably want internal combustion. I'm going to say air systems is probably more relevant right now. You probably should not deconstruct a battery that's half full of power, but so be it. Now, have I squandered my grid completely? Yes. You're running on that wheel for no reason, my friend. Just give him a minute. Just give him a minute. They're going to figure it out. There you go. 50 kilograms of copper ore. Build those wires. Thank you. Alright, you got to start running again, though. I hate to tell you. And we're going to see how this works. You know, one of the ways, beyond cheating and using Google to look up the answers to questions I don't know the answer to, another thing I'm going to attempt to do here is do a little test. So, we'll see how the colony runs. My hope is that once this ends up being full, it's full for a while. This battery, that is. I know power gets leached out of it, but so be it. And, you know, if nothing else, there's been some mea culpas in this episode, but at the same time, I've also reduced stress to 0. My duplicant was stressed to the extreme. We are going to need some more meal lice. Or lice loaf, I should say. My duplicant was stressed to the extreme. By fixing the seemingly polluted water problem, we seem to have solved that. Which is, you know, if you want to be snarky, because who would have thought not being sick would make you less stressed out. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to diagnose because there's not always a cause that's obvious if you're still at a novice level of playing the game. Never mind. Josh is at 1 stress. All is lost. So what we wanted to do here is see about... We would need a pump down here. So we got a couple things on the go, really. And I don't know if this is... It might be more effective to just give up on this water supply now that it's got some urine in it. But, you know, if we as a society did that, we'd be done, dude. The idea is... Wait, do we have mesh tiles yet? Probably not, right? Oh, we do! Build this at a priority 8, please. I just want to not get our duplicants soaking wet. But yeah, build this. The idea is that we don't need the pump to be super submerged. It needs to be submerged, but it doesn't need to be on the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Because it's going to be dumping almost as much water as it pulls back into the system. So we're going to build like a liquid vent here. And we're just going to see if we can't get this working. So, again, this is a bit of a shot in the dark, but we would build a pump like here. And then power would go like this. And now it's your chance for redemption. Don't get your input-output messed up. This is the output. It's going to pull clean and dirty water. Does a liquid filter have a decor penalty? It does. But I think this is an industrial area, so I think it's fine. So we'll just place that here, so we know it's buildable. And then liquid pipe. Clean and dirty water mixed together. We need a vent. Dirty water, sorry, clean water, having had the dirty water separated out of it. Dirty water. I'm just trying to think about where the best place to link it is. And I think the answer... Can we build a liquid bridge right here? We can indeed. Rotate it. Just to make it look slightly more elegant, which is always a danger for me. And then another liquid bridge. This should work, I think. And I think it should mostly be priority 8. Let's just make sure. Okay. So it might seem like this is not an urgent build, and in many ways you're probably correct, but I think the value from this comes from the fact that essentially, if this works, we've just given ourselves, you know, maybe a few thousand kilograms of clean water. And we've got some practice now building a filtration system that could conceivably work for us in the future. That's my thinking right now. I would like to get refrigeration as well. Of course, refrigeration comes with a desire. If not a desire, like a genuine need to get better power. So, you know, again, we're trying to add what it used to be the way that things happened here. We're running into way more problems with our greenhouse there, but what used to be the problem for me is I'd have a surplus of power, but you can apply this to any resource, food, you know, whatever. Water, algae. I'd have a huge or I'd have a problem. That's an even better way to describe it. Insufficient oxygen generation. And I'd go, oh, what do you do with insufficient oxygen generation? What if we built 8 algae terrariums? And then that would solve the problem, but then downstream we'd get a different problem. We're running out of algae and all of our duplicants are spending all day delivering algae to terrariums. What do we do about that? Now I'm trying to take things at a much slower pace. A much more considered pace. And the idea is if you measure twice, cut once, eventually we'll have made faster progress than otherwise should have been possible. Maybe we should just manufacture continuous. I still don't know what's going on with this lice loaf, but manufacture like continuous lice loaf? I don't know. Continue building, please. You gotta deliver the meal lice. We need food, and our edible supply is actually quite low. We took another 4,000 kilocalories out of it again today. We probably need more plants. So I'm throwing myself on the mercy of the court here. If you guys know what to do about this situation right here. I mean, we don't have any ventilation, and moreover, I'm just kind of like, why is it? Because cool air descends, I'm kind of surprised about why it's so freaking hot on the surface here, but it might not be related to and now it's atmosphere. So maybe it is related to, is there a pressure overlay? Okay, so your body temperature is off. Let's look at you. Atmosphere, oxygen, polluted oxygen, carbon dioxide. Are you not? Maybe the comment was actually correct. Maybe there's not enough carbon dioxide down here. And I'm just thinking, and I'm like, I have no idea what to do about that right now. we could seal it. I don't think that's the way we want to handle it, though. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait on that. And in the meantime, we have kind of like the specter of insufficient food consumption being down here, which is obviously something I'm not particularly pleased with. We could put some greenhouse stuff next to the compost, but it's kind of germy in here, isn't it? It's not germy at all. Okay, I'll tell you what. It's a half measure that I may end up regretting, but for the time being. Wait. They're not going to be able to hold because the ceiling is not high enough. I think. No, I think they will work. They don't grow 3 tiles high. They grow 2 tiles high. But today is all about, I mean, first off, generate sufficient oxygen, please. What is going on with this harvest, dude? It did work. Today is all about making sure that this liquid filter, at least, again, works in theory. And we have used half of our available algae. Trust me, I'm not pleased with that. I do want to get this algae mine set up. It is more or less a mine, as strange as it sounds. We've almost got our water filtration system set up here. It is going to take a long time to build. That's okay, I take long showers. Once that shower's done, the world's my oyster, dude. So the vent has been produced. Keep building those pipes, please. I know you got the skills. The mesh tile's been produced. You gotta build the filter, and you gotta build, like, one more pipe. The pipe is done. Okay. You don't have power. Now, that's something I should have foreseen. And we do have a strained grid now. This is kind of a moment of truth. Now I'm looking at it and I'm going, how do we do this? I believe we want to have a completely separate grid. I'm going to make a mistake in the interest of ad hoc solutions. Like for now, please do me a favor and deconstruct this wire. We're gonna, again, NL, you gotta focus yourself, you gotta take it slow. If we have a strained grid, let's take something that's irrelevant off of the grid. Irrelevant for now. And add in something substantially more useful. And then what I want to do later is have a second grid. I don't know, and this is where I'm going to ask for comments before I get a little too deep into it to cause problems. Do we need a second generator? Or do we just need, like, well, let me do you a pseudo diagram. Can we just have a wire that essentially comes from, let's say, here and goes to a battery, hypothetically, like here, and then this powers the other half of the base? Or does power go both ways? Like, can power go through this wire to our generator, through the generator down to our other battery, thereby linking the grid? Or do I need a second generator and battery setup? A generator to power the battery that powers the other half of the grid? I figure it might be a stupid question, but I'm not above asking stupid questions. Please filter out polluted water. I'm not above asking stupid questions. I'm okay being the guy who ends up getting a little embarrassed. And the idea is that hopefully, at some point, it ends up paying dividends. So I gotta admit, I'm watching it right now. I don't see a lot of, or rather, any polluted water making it through the system. And if no polluted water ever makes it through the system, there's really no reason to leave it on and consuming power. So I think what we actually need to do, and this was admittedly kind of a quick fix. Maybe it'll eventually get to the polluted water down here. I can't say for certain. But we're gonna need a sieve to clean the water that's there. And that's okay. Please, sweep this up. Oh, you've done it. Okay, and mealwood? Mealwood? You got a plant on it? Thank you. Thank you. Mealwood, thank you. And maybe a little mealwood is what I was thinking. Alright. So we end this episode. We still have the same kind of algae problems we had before. But we built a pseudo-filtration system that does not work, but we learned something. And who knows? Wait. I was just thinking. I wonder if we could use this for liquid cooling. 22 degrees, 23. What's the temperature here ambiently? It probably does cool it down a little bit, but I think I'm going too far. I think I'm going too deep for my own personal understanding. Algae remains an issue. But apart from that, I think we made some positive choices today. We avoided our grid being strained, and we'll probably have to solve that problem sooner rather than later. We made a greenhouse that seems a little bit, for the time being, it'll probably help us out. We solved our polluted water issue. I don't know what's going on with that overlay right there, but I still am holding out hope that we're getting like an ounce of polluted water every time, and once that pump fills up, or once the filter fills up, it's going to push it all out. But for now, thanks for watching. Apologies for my comment salt, and thank you very much for the constructive feedback. It's much appreciated. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.